The Church of Gail is an online following that orbits Gail Cord Schuler, a mid-60s-year-old woman who started a blog online to promote her bizarre and hilarious ideologies. Her church is in constant opposition to the Jesuit order of the Catholic Church. She believes that she can telepathically communicate and make love with countless world leaders and famous celebrities, and is always trying to stay one step ahead of those evil Jesuits. Gail has been posting online for about a decade and a half and has hundreds of hours of content to delve into. Unfortunately, some of these things are just too extreme to show on my channel. So just know that what we'll cover in this video is just what I think can get approved. There are plenty of other hijinks that you can find on her personal channel that might not be covered here. But with that being said, let's look at who Gail is self-described as.
I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm the author of my website, GabrielTana.com. I'm 60% Catherine the Great and 50% King David.
Gail is a woman unlike any other.
At our Church of Gail, which has over 1 million members.
A woman of countless talents.
For years now, the people at the Academy Awards and the Nobel Prize Committee have tried to give me the Academy Award for the best picture ever made, the Nobel Prize in Medicine, the Nobel Prize in Literature. They've been unable to give me my prizes.
Gail at one point in her life worked at Walmart and would describe her day-to-day life as being filled with altercations with Jesuits out back behind her job. These paranoid and schizo thoughts are documented on her personal blog, full of personal muses and interactions with real celebrities.
And I had a very busy day at Walmart today. It was crazy, which I've noticed it's really gotten crazy in there since I've made my website. And my website looks like I spent $100,000 on it, but I didn't. I just have worked really hard on it. And let me see if I can pull back and let them look at it. And you can get to it at churchofgail.com. You can see it right up there.
Maybe we're all just behind the curve. Gail has it all figured out and understands that wearing a tinfoil hat prevents any mental hacking from evil opposition. So if you think what you're hearing is bizarre ramblings from a mentally ill lady, then you should understand that your mind is hacked and your true thoughts of the truth are being subdued.
If you're watching my video without a tinfoil hat, there is a possibility that what you're seeing on the screen and what you're hearing is not what I produced. Yeah, man, he's got the technology now that if you're not wearing one of these things and you watch my video, you're not going to see my movie or what I made. You're going to see his version where he's got, yeah.
Trying to piece together exactly what the lore is and what is happening is a daunting task. One of the more perplexing aspects of the Church of Gail is the physical church itself. So apparently, the church is a flying space city with anti-Jesuit detractor beams to protect itself from attacks. In some tangential way, there is a Gail android that helps moderate the following, but also at times can be hacked and spread incorrect messages. At the end of Gail's videos, she has an outro proclaiming some truths of the church, showcases pictures of the spaceship, and shouts out patron supporters.
Greetings, human civilization. I am Gail. I regret to inform you that the end of your existence, as you know it, is imminent.
On multiple occasions, Gail will interact with these supporters, or as she refers to them as, her men. Typically, they participate in some type of role play defeating the enemies of the church. I'm unsure if Gail understands these instances as being fiction or real, but based on this space battle, I'd imagine she's bought in 100%.
So what is that thing out there? Is some kind of shimmering star out in the distance?
I'm talking to Brent.
Yeah, is it the Gail android?
Okay.
Oh my goodness, it's the Gail android. She's coming.
Keep reading the Bible. Keep from the Gail android. You can do it, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, come on.
Okay.
All right.
We humbly beseech you to overcome her sin.
My goodness, she's shooting us all over the place.
Lord Jesus.
So please chew on that mind-bending event that probably put your brain in a pretzel, and let's try to decipher how and why Gail got to the resolution that Jesuits run the world. She links them to being at the root of a lot of controversies throughout time. Disregard the fact that the Spanish Inquisition took place about 100 years before the founding of the Jesuits. That is my brain hacking that is influencing my viewpoint. I'm just not enlightened enough. Maybe it has something to do with Satan influencing electronic capabilities that take over my body.
Jesuits are always very interested in politics because their goal is worldwide domination for the Catholic Church. And they haven't changed. The way they were in the 1500s and the 1600s during the Inquisition is how they are today. The only thing that's changed are their methods. That Satan invented electricity, computers, and the internet, and therefore that's his turf. Zach Knight is his right-hand man. Zach Knight meets with Satan at least once a week. And apparently my Gail shield seems to be doing a little damage to that turf. But I don't know if Jesus would want to totally take it over, because then it would make it appear like Jesus endorses computer technology, which he does not.
The supposed leader of the Jesuits is some man named Zach Knight. Gail always points to him as being the main antagonist of her movement, constantly plotting actions to take her out. But since Gail has direct communication with both Jesus and Buddha, she is able to avoid those pitfalls. Her mask also slips, indicating that people have probably tried to place her in a mental hospital before, but since she has her own autonomy, they can't force her to go. This obviously will be used as argument that the powers that be don't want her message out there.
He said, why in the world was there a gallon of water at the bottom of your garbage can? And apparently, according to Jesus, Zach Knight was planning on bashing me with that gallon of water in my sleep. And Jesus came into my apartment to rescue me. They can't take you out. They cannot commit you to a psychiatric facility against your will unless you're a danger to yourself or someone else. And I have never my entire life ever been a danger to myself or anyone else.
Time to get into the integral teachings of the Church of Gail. What does the church have to say about alcohol consumption?
Jesus knew I had this. You're saying, Jesus? Is Jesus an alcoholic? Well, I do not drink alcohol. But let me tell you something. I only cook with it. But let me tell you something. When Jesus takes Brent Spiner out to dinner, if Brent orders wine, Jesus says nothing. Apparently, Jesus doesn't mind Christians drinking alcohol, as long as they do it, in moderation.
As mentioned earlier, Gail believes she can telepathically communicate with almost anyone. One deity she interacts with frequently is Satan, whom is always trying to negatively influence Gail.
He says, if you don't, this is Satan. That's what he was saying. And immediately I started reading from Revelation 17 and 18. I wasn't going to talk to him. I thought, oh my God,
Gail also tends to give the church's stance on a popular moment in culture, such as believing that Robin Williams had not passed, instead being permanently transformed into Mrs. Doubtfire, or that when the Queen had passed away, that the Church of Gail would create an automaton to replace her with. During that video, she also got into extreme sexual detail of the robot that it was just uncomfortable, to say the least.
And make one of them the husband to the automaton we're going to make of Elizabeth. So yeah, it won't be Charles who ascends the throne in England, because we're going to make an automaton of Elizabeth. We're going to bring her back.
When Gail is being influenced by nefarious forces, she claims that some type of energy ball is typically inserted into her body, and you know what the resolution to that is. She says she needs a companion to help extract said energy, and that in order to do that, they have to remove it through her butt.
I turned around and bent it over for Buddha, pulling my gluteal folds apart with my hands to bust it wide open, as Terrence Jenkins would say. So basically, Jesus did have invisible furniture here, and Brent is formally evicting Jesus to be completely moved in.
Your brain might be at the same point that I'm currently at, melting and smoothing over as time moves on. I'm not sure how Gail accomplished it, but every sentence she says feels like an elaborate shitpost that I'm falling for. Maybe we've all been smelling too many fat woman farts. Gail has the remedy for that as well.
To protect you from the fat woman's farts, I've been making videos telling you need to get this. If they fart and you don't wear this, you'll become mentally retarded.
She also believes that she is the Empress of the universe and is the President of the United States. Sorry, Gail, I only recognize the one true president, Daniel Larson.
Because I'm the de facto president. I can override any of Bernie's policies that are unworkable. I run the country as a constitutional monarchy. As I've been saying, the real battle in politics is between me as U.S. Empress and President and Lori McBride, who's striving to lead a coup to overthrow me. Because apparently they've just held an election in the United States and I've been voted like 98% U.S. president. And Trump is pissed because I'm saying we're going to override Trump on Trump. I'm going to tell you this right now. Donald Trump, I'm the president, not you.
Gail believes that anyone who doesn't follow her teachings are either brain hacked or have been replaced with a Jesuit clone that carries out their orders. This tends to conflict with actual real-world personal tribulations that afflict Gail.
I have not been abducted by my clone, but and I made another video on that, and then my mother called, so I'm going to upload that video later. But right now, I'm going to the hospital. Please continue to pray. He is not out of the woods. In fact, the doctors are pessimistic. They don't think he's going to make it. What the tour was like. Terrence told me a little bit more about my stepdad's house. It has a bowling alley. Terrence said he had a dream about my stepdad and that he was bowling. And I was telling Terrence that my stepdad was very level-headed, but he was an upbeat guy.
Like most peculiar figures online, they tend to get in random spats with trolls online. A rival blog/wiki popped up to try to archive Gail's antics, which led to Gail alleging copyright infringement and that she will ultimately be the winner.
This is from Crazy Gail Wiki. Gail is both hypersexual and yet strangely sheltered, expressing both an extreme craving for sex while simultaneously having extremely limited understanding of what it actually entails, pasting large portions of my website, which is a copyright infringement, and they're pasting large portions of my website and onto Crazy Gail Wiki and creating their own documents. This is copyright infringement. And you think you're going to win this one? Good luck.
Also, I'm not really sure where to include this clip, but it was odd because outside of her men, Gail rarely interacted with other people online. However, on one such occasion, she got into a spat with some random lady about how small her boobs are.
I have. Okay? Real. Not surgically.
I don't believe you. Do you think I give a what people think about me? You talk big talk for a chick with no
Just exactly.
fuel for my spacecraft.
Spacecraft where? Where are you gonna go?
I'm currently in orbit over South Africa. My name is Zach Knight. Gail let me log into her account because you were sending excessive video messages.
As mentioned earlier, Gail has a stable of influential men vying to have a relationship with her. Gail claims to have been married and divorced in the past. A potential bugaboo in their relationship might be the brain sex she was having with Brent Spiner, the actor from the original Star Trek. Early on in their relationship, Gail says that Brent wiretapped her phone in order to communicate with her, and that the brain love would come at a much later date.
That we never kissed or anything, and then we got married, and that's because the guy that I had before him was trying to get all over me, so it was kind of like a rebound reaction. I wasn't like that with every guy that I dated in my 20s. There were some guys that I had some passionate kissing with, but I never did have premarital sex. When I divorced my husband, I didn't have brain-to-brain sex until 2003. And when I divorced my husband, Brent had wiretapped my phone, and I was talking to him on my phone. There was no brain-to-brain communications at this time. This came later. Vladimir Putin is the one who introduced me to brain-to-brain sex.
She would make videos dedicated to Brent, calling him her husband, and explain that any video we see of him today is actually his cloned counterpart.
Sexiest guy alive. In private, I could be much more sexy around you. And this baby that she claims she had with him was probably conceived with his clone, not the real Brent Spiner. Brent Spiner's been trying to get rid of her ever since she him in September 1992.
She even discusses this Canadian court case involving Brent and his wife Lori. In this alleged court case, Lori tried to prove that she was Brent's true lover and not Gail. This included showing naked photos and videos of them, the whole 9 yards.
Lori McBride, in the middle of the trial, ran to the bathroom to have sex with a Brent Spiner clone. Yes, right in the middle of the trial. And they're accusing me of being hypersexual? I didn't do that in the middle of the trial.
Probably makes you wonder what Brent thinks of all this. Well, a viewer went to one of his Q&As and asked him about her. Shockingly, he is aware of her and takes the high road in this situation.
And there's this woman named Gail Ford Schuler who's become somewhat of an internet meme by devoting this crazy YouTube channel to you. I'm wondering if you've ever heard of her and if you have a response to her claims and so forth.
Well, nobody here knows what you're talking about except for you. And so I'd be glad to answer you privately about that. But I do know about it. It's only been going on for about 22 years.
Oh my God.
And
I'm next.
I've never met her or spoken to her. She has a very rich fantasy life. And God bless her.
Thank you.
Another lover of hers is Vladimir Putin, to which she claims they connected after his wife died. Gail will frequently post these cringe serenading videos of her trying to seduce her lovers. She claims that she's irresistible to her men, and all they want to do is make love passionately with her.
Now, I believe she died right before you became Russian president. And then you noticed me, and you've been dreaming about me since 2001. Been kind of complaining because he wants more time from me. And I said, I'm sorry, Vladimir, I've just been so busy. Well, see, it's not that he's complaining. It's just that it really encourages him when I make love to him. And Vladimir works so hard for me. He's practically behind Walmart every day judo chopping evil Jesuits that harassed me at that store.
But wait, there's more. Matthew McConaughey is also grouped into this story. While a relationship is never formally discussed, she knows that Matthew is out there fighting the good fight for Gail, including fending off countless Jesuit clones that tried to entrap her men.
He's nervous about writing me right now, though he might decide to do it. He's worried about Camilla Alves. But anyways, you say, well, what about all these pictures of him going around with her? That's his clone. Matthew McConaughey has clones. Brent Spiner has clones. Just about everybody on Earth has a clone. These are clones. The Jesuits do lie a little bit on their website sometimes, but this is correct.
There was a stretch of time that Gail would make videos in a bikini to show off for her men, because after all, they can't help but fawn over her. I don't want to see any of you rewind this clip in order to go to the Jork zone.
And I'm courageous and strong, and I'm devoted to my men. And for 57, for 57, this is, I don't look bad, so. Then the man will die for her, and apparently that's how my men feel about me. It's just that the men and I all love seeing you on Skype. You keep our morale so high, so strong during this ongoing war with the Jesuits. You are our heart and soul. If we are to properly honor God, it would be to honor you as well as someone he favors so deeply.
From time to time, her Skype communication with her patrons will get extremely bare. She'll make videos imploring them to reach back out to her because even though they long for her, she longs for them even more.
I haven't heard from my men through Skype, which is my usual way of getting news, since March. I believe that there's a very important legal case going on right now, and regarding the Gail Shield, and the Jesuits feel that I need to be brought in for like psychiatric evaluation so that they can operate on me and weaken the shield. I'm worried about my men again. I'm wondering if maybe they're dying again, because I haven't heard from them. So I'm just wondering. So pray for my men.
It even got to the point that she has sent nude pictures of herself to them, which unfortunately for you, you won't get to see. Unsurprisingly, Gail isn't in the best standing with YouTube. As I said, I've catered what I've shown. Much more offensive things can be found on her channel if you're interested, but I've got to look out for my own well-being.
I forgot to mention YouTube denied my appeal. So they gave me my first strike for a 7-year-old video where I was talking about my mother and how Zach Knight was trying to seduce her.
During one of her church's operations, they met the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beneath NYC. This inspired Gail to make a special pizza dedicated to them.
To make the Ninja Turtles a pizza sometime and put it on her cooking channel. Don't forget to put it on her special dining table too, so it can be transported to us, Donatella reminded Brent. Great idea. I know my wife can make a mean Italian pizza from scratch. I'm using kitchen scissors to cut it. It is delicious. This is a winner recipe.
Gail has sparingly showed off her apartments. They're mostly donned with survival gear like jugs of water, a sewing kit, and her workout gear.
In here, what I'm going to do when the movers come, I'm going to put everything in the bathroom here. And, yeah, it's going to be crowded in here. Usually when you move from one place to another, it gets really, really crowded. But I just want to thank my Patreon supporters. I have been getting a lot of new Patreon supporters. And you guys are awesome. You're so helpful. You're so considerate. Like, I appreciate all of you. And I don't even have a white tub. I have a peach-colored tub. So Zach is full of crap. This is what my bathroom looks like. Nothing like the way Zach Knight chose. There's no blood anywhere. Today, I said he's crazy. My dream home with my husband. I don't need a big place, but I just want it so that it doesn't look cruddy, okay? Because I think Brent deserves to live in a first-class house. It doesn't have to be a rich house, but it should be clean, organized. I don't want any furniture that looks moldy or really extremely scratchy. It's amazing what I was able to do with a walnut here.
Gail is more than just crazy theories. She also enjoys showing off her life of eating, cooking, exercising, and even having a good laugh at some wholesome content. However, she mentions taking Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic medication used to treat BPD and schizophrenia. This brings to light that we're not dealing with some random disgruntled person. She has an actual mental illness and uses her influence and connections online to cope with said illness. Gail is mostly harmless and doesn't deserve any scrutiny. At this point, she's mostly just like an older lady posting ramblings about her life online. Nothing more, nothing less.
Gonna make my bleach for my mustache. Bleach the mustache. That's the antihistamine. These are my multivitamins. This is all Jesus says I can take, and then Seroquel. I like to put it in a little jar so that I don't forget. Very important, especially with this, or so I don't accidentally double up on anything. I did a little bit of trimming here, just a little bit this morning on my hair. The music reminds me that beauty is more than just your muscles and your skin and your face. It's a beautiful soul, you know? If you don't have a beautiful soul, it doesn't matter how good looking you are physically, you are ugly.
Well, because Jimmy's pitching a tent right now.
What?
This is for chicken with 40 cloves of garlic. The way what I did is I cooked the chicken in here in the Dutch oven, and I took it out. It's right over there. I don't know if you can see it real good. It's on top of that gray.
I'm gonna have to toe the line with this next incident. Apparently, the Jesuits launched a weapon full of male you-know-what to impregnate the people in Brent Spiner's city. We even have a follower call in to play along.
Any scientists out there that can help us stop this or come up with some sort of side that will counter all the germs that are going to come out of this, contact Judge Terrance Jenkins at...
Yeah, it's me again.
Yeah, keep talking. I actually have the video going right now, and I think you're being recorded.
Oh my goodness, I'm on video. That's amazing.
Yes, say what you need to say.
Well, our scientists on nanotechnology research team is saying that this is a new hockey.
She reads off Brent's first-hand account of what happened in the city. Honestly, some of the paragraphs are written quite eloquently and depict the horror well. Brent was able to survive only because of his admiration for Gail.
The Canadian nation has been hit with this new bomb. I'm going to read a letter that I got from Brent Spiner. I am writing to you from the Canadian International Hospital where I sit in quarantine, zipped inside a dreadfully squeaky white hazmat suit. These suits actually look like the space suits we used on the set of Star Trek. So at the very least, I know I look cute in them. All of Canada has been... I cannot describe to you the smell. Still swelling with the melody of I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, playing over the hospital intercom, uninterrupted by the horror dawning outside with the cold glow of the winter sun. A shield over the United States and over all the countries in the world, because you can block this new with a shield, but you need to get it up to protect your country.
Bill Nye the Science Guy is also a prominent figure for Church of Gail. He has been tasked with taking down 2 giant taco burritos that were wreaking havoc in Mexico.
And they were eating the burritos and tacos, and they tasted good, but it also created 2 giant, evil, sentient tacos and burritos. But we need more scientists to help Bill Nye, because Bill Nye actually came up with the shield, but he thinks that the Jesuits he thinks that the Jesuits decalibrated his quantum subharmonic actuator and caused the shield to create this giant taco and burrito that's following Church of Gail right now, trying to eat them.
If you remember the missing Malaysian flight from years ago, well, Bill Nye the Science Guy was involved there as well. The Church of Gail were the ones that were trying to save everyone from a Mecha Godzilla's butt, and with the help of Bill Nye, he was able to take some afflictions along the way, but ultimately save everybody.
This is an update on the Malaysian plane. We are trying to tranquilize this Jesuit who's got this plane in his ass. But he's like Godzilla. We can't bring him down. You fans have been really helpful because you recommended Bill Nye, the Science Guy, to us. And he has been the most important scientist on this project that we're going to use to try to save the people on the Malaysian jet. But he had an accident. He's a brilliant scientist, and he's the one who developed my strategy about giving the Godzilla Jesuit diarrhea. He was getting it all calibrated in the lab, and while he was standing in front of his device making adjustments, it went off. And you got to remember that this device is designed to make a Godzilla Jesuit need to have diarrhea. So for a normal-sized man, it was really bad.
Lizzo has also been mentioned as an enemy. It probably has something to do with her size, but this ties back to the TMNT who teamed up to defeat her in the subway system of New York City.
Back in June, when Brent went down into underground New York to take out the interdimensional Might Queen Lizzo. He ran into the Ninja Turtles, and they played a big role in enabling Brent to take out the Might Queen Lizzo. And if he hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be here talking to you, and you guys wouldn't be here listening to me. We'd all be gone.
The Church of Gail is also a target for viruses and malware, like the time that the Chinese took everyone's private parts to store until Gail fought back and returned them to their rightful owners.
There was a very serious malware in the computer system at Church of Gail, and it caused all the men at Church of Gail to cause them to have all sorts of afflictions. It was very painful, and the pieces were in excellent condition, because the reason the Chinese doctors stole the pieces is because they had small ones and they wanted big ones. So they made the Church of Gail is safely back in space, and I am writing to you in the comfort of my quarters. Sweet dreams tonight, my dear. I adore you. Your husband, Brent Spiner.
At some point, her mother was being held captive in a Jesuit base in North Korea. Hugh Jackman was sent to save her mother, but needed outside help in order to disable the shields. Gail offered $1 billion to anyone who would help. She got a team of scientists and the supreme leader of North Korea to help evacuate the two and return them home.
My mother is in Jesuit territory. She is in North Korea. She has been held hostage by the Jesuits. The Jesuits have been using their switch-out technology on her, where they are able to switch her out with her evil clone, because my mother, up until very recently, was not a born-again Christian. Hugh Jackman has been running for the past hour with my mother over his shoulder. He saved my mother's life from her evil clone who tried to kill her. The clone is dead. We had to kill the clone in order to save my mother. Hugh had to punch her head out. He felt bad about this, but he had no choice. If we can rescue them out of there, we will offer you $1 billion reward. If you have any information on how to break this shield so that we can rescue Hugh Jackman and my mother that are inside Jesuit territory right now, inside one of their strongest military bases, you will get $1 billion reward. The North Korean leader Kim Jong-il, we are very impressed with him. He's really working with us, and he plans on joining our Church of Gail. A lot of scientists that have responded to the last video I made about how to break the Jesuit shield, and we were able to break it enough that we were able to transport Hugh Jackman and my mother out of the Jesuit military compound. We had a tough battle, though. Some of the robots that Hugh Jackman created were fighting a 2 million people Jesuit army. We were greatly outnumbered, but one robot killed about 200,000 or 300,000 Jesuits.
Not every story is of a second-hand account, however. Gail believed that the FBI came to oust her from her house, but she wasn't going down without a fight. I can't say the weapon she used to fling against the walls and doors, but I'd suggest you go see that video if you're in need of a good laugh.
There are some people at my door. They claim to be Secret Service or FBI or I don't know, and they say that they're here because of that letter that I mailed to Melania. Okay, I gotta go talk to them. I am not. You come back with a warrant and you prove to me you're not fake. And say hi to Melania Trump, too. Say hi to the bitch. Saying they're getting reinforcements? God almighty! Okay, what do I do, Lord Jesus? I need to do something. And they're just treating me like I'm the crazy lady and like I'm dangerous or something, and they need to come in here and get me.
All of the attention being thrown Gail's way led to some more mainstream eyes, one of which would be Daniel Tosh of Tosh.0 on Comedy Central.
So I always do whatever Jesus says. You may say, Jesus said you could appear on Tosh.0. Yep, he sure did. He encouraged me to do so. So I went.
Gail was invited to come out and do a segment on the show, and she documented some of her trip out there to appear on a segment. And that segment happened to be for the 2016 Election Day special episode.
Before this is where they put my makeup on. Put my makeup on that chair right there, and they fitted me with microphone in here.
She even tried to showcase some friendly interactions with the populace, like this Mexican man who she gave a rice cake to and tried to speak Spanish with before he abruptly walked away from the situation.
My friend has been here a long time. I gave him some of my rice cakes, and I called his friend up again, and he still hasn't come. It's been like 2 hours. But I told him to take taxi, but he said no. So he's helping make the time go by quick. Key? No here, huh? Okay. Alright.
The special day came where Tosh and Hearst had a sit-down discussion of all of her philosophies, starting with Gail's ability to seek out Jesuits in the wild.
Can you spot a Jesuit just by looking at someone?
I can, because I've got like genius emotional IQ, but sometimes they're really smart and they trick me.
Tosh seems to be pretty down with her lore and mentions her ancestry along with her proclivity to winning Nobel Peace Awards, even for categories that don't even exist.
I'm 50% King David, 60% Catherine the Great.
So when you give 110%, that's actually not an exaggeration.
That's a good way of putting it, yeah.
How many Nobel Prizes have you won?
Oh, I'm not even sure. I know I've won literature, physical fitness.
There's a Nobel Prize for physical fitness?
Yeah, that's what's really weird. They make up Nobel Prizes for me.
Okay.
Gail mentions the news station that she apparently watches to get all of her news and information, something the normies would have trouble understanding.
00 on cable. I hear you get it in LA.
00 on cable?
Uh-huh. You don't get it?
I don't get 00. I've never even typed in 00. Can you do that?
Yes.
Oh.
This was probably the highest point of relevancy in Gail's career. Her channel saw a large influx of viewership before it gradually came back down to where it is today. She still posts, but her theories are much more tame than they were in the past. Gail seems like a troubled mind in a troubled world. Her intentions are good-hearted, and I hope she continues to find satisfaction in her everyday life. But either way, until next time, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.